This video, honestly and truly, could save your life. And I mean that in two contexts. Number one, it could save your life in terms of the life that you live, a life that's fulfilling and with purpose and meaning and relevance and a self-identity that you want and need and deserve. But also the physiological living, because living that kind of life, peer-reviewed, qualified, legitimate research has shown that has a direct impact on your physiology, your cognition, and your overall well-being.
Helping you find your new way forward to the best years of your life. This is a New Way Forward podcast with your host, Paul Long.
And so here's what it is. In the first place, yes, this especially applies to people who are getting older and they're approaching retirement age or at retirement age or in retirement age. But I've shared this with 30-somethings for whom life is great right now, and they've been like, thank you, Paul. This changes my outlook on life right now and not just my future. And yeah, I want you to 5, 10, 15 years from now say, thank you, Paul. I'm so glad I watched that and did this approach. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what it is, why it's so important, and how you can do it to assure that your life, your future, is the one that you deserve and the one that you need. Okay. So this is about not falling into traps, not assuming or presuming, or doing what you think you're supposed to do. How many of us have pursued the life that we thought we were supposed to live, only to go, well, I did what I was supposed to do and I'm miserable and it was never right for me, right? So this can apply to any phase of life. But let's talk specifically about approaching retirement age. By getting rid of the word retirement and therefore, oh, here's what it's supposed to be like and what I'm supposed to do. What's that based on? Not you. Not real thinking through of what you want and don't want and what you need and what you like and what you must have, all of that. So if, for instance, approaching retirement, if you got rid of that word and say, no, here's what I'm doing. So here's the big point. I'm going to have a clean slate, and I'm going to view this as entering a new phase in life, a major life change, transition, even transformation. And it's required. It's required for whatever reason, whether I don't want to work anymore, or I'm tired of doing what I was doing, or it's being forced upon me, whatever the case may be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back and wipe the whiteboard clean, and I'm going to start determining, what do I want that to be? What do I need that to be? What must I have? What do I want to avoid? All of that. What are the practical considerations? You see what you're doing here? You're not counting on someone else's playbook or what society or parents or peers or marketers or whatever told us we should be doing and what we do want. You're deciding for yourself. A really big thing is you're going to actually stop and think about it. You're going to become aware, and that's step one. Because 15 years ago, when I started, I was getting older, and I'm like, okay, I'm done doing what I'm doing. The boys are about to be gone on their own lives. What do I want the rest of my life to be like? Well, my gosh, I'll tell you right now, if I had I guess I'll retire. That would have been a disaster for me. Absolute disaster. I would have been one of those people who fell for the retirement trap, and I would have not had purpose. I wouldn't have had this, which is what I discovered because it fit everything that I needed. It wouldn't have happened if I hadn't had a blank slate. Sometimes a blank slate is forced upon people at any given point in life, but let's stick with the retirement age thing. I'm supposed to be retiring that word, but I'm going to use it for now. Okay, I get a pass. I gained, first of all, the awareness that I needed to have in order to make an informed decision and to figure out what the right decision was for me. I love how Richard Leiter, who I've had on the author of The Power of Purpose and Who Do You Want to Be When You Grow Old, and several other bestsellers, authored or co-authored. And he says, in times of crisis, and I'm also going to say in times of transition, we go higher and deeper. And that's exactly what I inadvertently did. Going higher in terms of having the awareness that I needed of what's going on out there. When I started looking at, well, what are my age cohorts doing? What's going on with retirement? It was the complete opposite of what I expected. I saw this mega trend of people being suffering after a year or two of bliss because it lacked so much that we all need, and especially if you've got decades of healthy and active life ahead of you. And by the way, being happy and fulfilled and stuff is a contributor to that. Then I looked at people, many of whom, but not all, were forced to do what I'm talking about, to wipe the slate clean and saying, okay, I can't afford to retire, but I also don't want to keep doing what I've been doing, or I've been, maybe because of ageism, kicked out of what I was doing. And I need to figure out, okay, how can I keep earning money? But the ambitious ones, rightfully so ambitious ones, and smart ones, what they did is they said, okay, well, I'm going to step back and gain awareness, and I'm going to figure out a way to earn an income that fits the life I need, that gives me what I need, something that I'd be excited about and fulfilled about, and would be challenged, but have the satisfaction of doing and accomplishing and just, enjoying what I'm doing. But then also it fits the life that I want. I don't want to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. I want to be able to earn an income, but I want to have more time for other things. And what I found out is that the other mega trend is more and more people were doing that. And the fact of the matter is, it's possible. But the only way it's possible is if we get rid of this preconceived notion of what we're supposed to do and actually step back and gain the awareness of what we want and need to do. Because what I found, and what other people have found, and what Stanford University, even their longevity center, pulled in hundreds of experts ranging from CEOs and sociologists to psychologists to medical doctors to regular people. They've identified olderhood as a new phase of life. It had to be redefined in this modern age because we're going through a longevity revolution of people like me and so many others who are looking at this phase of life as my turn and an opportunity that if I take moderately good care of myself and I live with purpose and fulfillment, a reason, a motivation to be healthy through exercise, resistance training, and aerobic, and good eating, and I have purpose and relevance, and friends and community, that I can achieve my goal of dying young at an old age and being healthy, active, and independent into to my 90s. But the only way of doing that is to obviously get rid of that R thing, it starts with the letter R, and do this blank slate and embrace and pursue and seek and achieve what I need in my life in all respects, not just income, not just family, not just fun, but health and purpose and relevance, all of that. Okay, so here's a great approach as to how to think about it, and it might be a framework that might help you start looking at it in a smart way. And that is, look at your life the way that you would look at flipping a house or a property. Look at what it is that they do, and you've probably seen it. I mean, my gosh, I cannot believe how many house flipping programs there are that are out there. But what are they doing when they're flipping a house? They're taking something that, because they're not knocking it all down, that still has a lot of good stuff about it. So they're keeping that. Or they're repairing something that needs to be updated or just repaired. But they're also thinking, now what do I need to do to this house to make it something people want? here in the 21st century, taking down walls and opening spaces, making it lighter, better, more energy efficient, as well as the view through the windows, more functional kitchen, a bigger bathtub, whatever the heck it is. They're identifying what people really want and need, just as you could do it for yourself. And yet they're not throwing out the baby with the bathwater, or the baby boomer with the bathwater. Sorry, I couldn't resist. They're actually determining, like you can, what do I really want in my life, and what do I need? And so how do I flip my life, in a manner of speaking? I'll give you an even better example. In Detroit, there is the Michigan Depot, which was built back in the early 20th century. And by the way, back then, Detroit was iconic around the world as the symbol for prosperity and advancement because of the automotive industry and so many other industries and things of that sort. And the Michigan Depot was iconic. It was this tall building, lots of offices, obviously, a lot of traffic through there and everything else. But what happened? Things changed. And the big thing was people weren't riding trains ubiquitously like we used to. It didn't keep up with what was needed and desired over the years, just as we as individuals don't always keep up with what we need and desire over the years. And that's why when it becomes time to make a change in your life for whatever reason, it's a frigging opportunity to step back and become aware of what's going on, what the opportunities are, what other people are doing that's good or bad, and then going deeper, as Richard Leider said, as to what is it that I really want and need and desire in all parts of my life. By the way, I did a video that can really help you with that, and it's about a life wheel. I'll put the link to it in the description. That'll actually help you identify what those things are, envision what it really is in specifics, and then figure out what you need to do to get there. But anyway, back to the Michigan Depot. So what was an icon of prosperity and advancement eventually became an iconic location for ruin porn. Yeah, I mean, look at the way this place looked. But here's what happened. The Ford Motor Company, spearheaded by Bill Ford Jr., who I know, who I've worked with, and I mean, he really is a genuinely caring, forward-looking person. They bought it, and they were going to renovate it, and it is now their center for automotive and mobility advanced technologies. But the thing of it is that on the one hand, they restored the splendor of the architecture, both inside and outside. But, and going back to the life, they also considered, but what does it need to be today to function and provide what's needed? So in this building, there are multiple different uses of it, but let's talk about, like, for the Ford employees who are researching advanced technologies. They knew that they had to have the infrastructure of power and internet, and they needed to, instead of having cubby holes and partitions and stuff, they needed open workspaces. They needed to update it to fit what is necessary today, just as you would do with your life. But then they went even farther. Well, this isn't just an island here. So this is a neighborhood in Detroit called Corktown that's right next to downtown. It's a very old, and a lot of automotive stuff got started there. Well, it's become now an ecosystem of other companies. So you could flip your life like that Michigan Central Depot did, where it was a win-win-win for everybody. Or just flipping a house like on one of those shows, or it's flipping your own house because you're taking what's good. You're not making a total transformation. You're not turning into a gazelle or something. No, it's still you. You're identifying and keeping, modifying, repairing what is best, and you're bringing in the new, updated features and aspects that you need in your life. And they're one of the biggest things of all. If there was one thing you could thank me for, it's that you actually got me to thinking about it. Whether you follow this analogy of flipping a house or not, you're actually thinking about what do I want, what do I need, what do I not want, and then, by the way, what people usually start with, which is what can I do, what am I good at, what could I exceed at, like I did. First of all, you're creating the plan or the architecture or whatever you want to call it that your decision needs to achieve and fit into. And therefore, you're reimagining and reapplying yourself and your life for who you are today and what you need today. And it's not just age, it's not retirement, it's just what are you going to do with this major life change that's ideal for you to give you the life you're entitled to and that you deserve and that you're capable of having because it's going to be true to you. So, in the concept of flipping a house, here are 9 things you can do, like flipping a house, to flip your life into something that is perfect for you. So number one is understand the fact that your life needs to be flipped and why. Understand the reason for it, and then go to number two, which is reimagine the purpose and intent of it. So just like remodeling that house to update it, what needs to be updated? What needs to be different? Or what is it that fundamentally I want in my life? All right, number three, develop a vision. So after you've reimagined the purpose and the intent of it, why you're remodeling it and what you want, now you've got this vision of what it's going to look like and what it's going to be like to live with it, to live with this new life of yours, just as you're living with the new house. And the more you envision it, the more you feel the emotion of what it'll be like to be in this perfect situation or home or life, the more ingrained it becomes in you, the more your brain is going to work with you to help figure it out and identify what those special things are. Number four, you're going to account for what do I have that I just keep? You know, the bones of the house or whatever. What do I need to repair? What do I need to modify? What do I need to update? Or what do I need to get completely rid of or add on in order to fit the needs, hopes, and desires that I have for my future? Then number five, bring in those new things, make those updates, or determine what you need to do to make those updates in order to meet these needs and desires that you've identified. Then number six, be prepared for problems, surprises, curveballs, doubt, self-doubt. That's all going to happen. It happens in those shows. It happens in our lives. You know, with me pursuing my new way forward, I still have moments, typically while I'm brushing my teeth and getting in bed, where I think, oh, I'm screwing this up. I'm a total failure. This is never going to happen. But just as you're learning from me, I learned from so many very successful people that they go through the same thing. There's always going to be problems. You're always going to make a mistake. You're always going to be some sort of failure or misdirection or self-doubt. It happens to us all. Accept it, adapt, and get around it. Seek out help and expertise. You know, it's really hard to just do this ourselves. Now, nobody's going to have all the answers for you. Nobody's going to save you, but to have people, especially someone, and maybe someone who you're not close with, like a mastermind partner, who you can talk to, who you can run stuff by, who can give you ideas and support, but also what I don't like, but I love because I need it, is people who are going to call me out or challenge me, because that's when the real positive magic and good things can happen. Number eight, invest the time, invest the money if you have to, because it's worth it, period. We're talking about the rest of your life. We're talking about the difference of between what, for instance, some retirees are suffering from, you know, the alcoholism, drug abuse, depression. Oh my God, I'm failing at retirement. No, you're failing at life. You want to avoid that. But also, what could be very little in life could be more worthwhile than the investment of time, energy, effort, and maybe some money in order to get where you need and want to be. And number nine, realize the fact and be willing of the fact and maybe even advertise the fact to others that you're putting your butt on the line here. You're committed to it, just as if you bought that house that needed to be flipped, you're committed to making it into something to give you a profit. Well, you're committed to doing this flip of your life, and your profit is going to be basking in the life that's ideal for you.
So you see what you'd be doing by approaching it like this? You see how much sense it makes? It's just looking at, all right, I'm at this phase of life. I am this way. I have these needs and desires. Let's look at everything and discover the way that's right for me. I'm not falling into the what might be a false narrative for me, retirement. I'm not going on somebody else's playbook. I'm actually thinking about who I am now and what I really want and need, what I value, what I must have in my life. And by just thinking about it, hell, by watching this video, you're ahead of 99% of the people on earth who just assume and fall into the traps. You're doing one of the smartest things that you could possibly do. And while I value so much about all my years on this earth, what I really value now that I'm down the road on my new way forward is that I actually did it. And, yeah, is everything perfect? Have I been flawless in my execution and pursuit? Hell no. But my gosh, I can't imagine what it would be like if I had not done this. If I had not even pursued traditional retirement, but just not looked at it like a blank sheet of paper and really realized what it is I wanted and needed and then pursued it. This is what a new way forward is. This is what discovering it is, and this is what is pursuing it and attaining it. The life that I need and want, the life that you need and want, the one that you're capable of having, the one that matches who you are and makes the years ahead some of, if not the best of your life.
Learn more ways to enhance your life and discover a new way forward that's perfect for you by watching these videos or any others on my channel. Oh, and be sure to subscribe.